how to create magical inspired solutions. I just love the flow of that. How to create magical inspired solutions. Well, of course, both Deb and I, in the work that we do, our whole focus is to create solutions. But adding into this bit is this sparkle of magical inspired solutions. So what does that bring up for you when we say how to create magical inspired solutions? Oh, P.S. listeners, we do encourage you to have a note-taking device, pen and paper, or pencil and paper, or your phone, because we intend to give you some tips and little pieces to take away. So
golden nuggets in here.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, dear Deb. Welcome, listeners. Here, she said, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Here we are for another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations podcast episodes. We've got a really good topic. I'm really excited for today's topic. But because
I'm rolling my eyes.
And she's, yes, Deb's not quite sure about this one. But before we get stuck into our topic for today, we like to do this wee bit of a check-in, and we check in on ourselves to see how we are. And there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just to check in, assess where you are. And this is called our PEMS check-in. That's PEMS. So you're checking in to say, see, how's your physical body? How's your physical well-being? How is your emotional well-being? How's your mental well-being? And how's your spiritual well-being? And what we're doing is we're going to assess ourselves by giving ourselves a number on a scale of 0 to 10. And 0 is where everything's just so harmonious, balanced, calm, zen.
Take me there. Take me there now.
Take me there. And then, of course, 10 is the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like kind of chaos, crazy making, stuck, OMG, discombobulated, all those fun things. But here's the truth of it, is that we all move up and down that scale, that spectrum. And sometimes we can go beyond a 10, up to a 15 or 20. I know, I've been there.
Same.
Yep. And so that's what this is. And so we encourage you to just make a wee note of where you are, and then have a wee check in with yourself when we hit the midway point. And then we're all going to check in at the end. And of course, Deb and my intention with these conversations is always to take you from wherever you are closer to that 0 and kind of lovingly, nurturingly embrace you there. So, all that being said, where are you, my dear?
I'm going to say a 3.
Okay.
Because I got a bit of a cough that sort of happened just before we started. And then my nose decides to not run out the door, but I'm like, oh no, what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah. I do think today's going to be an interesting one, especially after, we like to solve the universal problems.
Yes. We always have a long conversation before we hit record. And yes, that's why I think this is going to be an interesting topic for today.
Yes.
So you're at a 3. I'm actually at 1.5. I am feeling pretty good. I'm excited. I've got a smile inside and outside. wondering, what are we going to discover here?
She's also in a lot of sun and having a lovely, and we're in a little bit of cold weather over here in New Zealand.
Yes, this is the difference between the Northern Hemisphere being in summer mode and the Southern Hemisphere being in more wintry mode. So then you start to get a wee bit of a shift in perspective. But all that being said, what we're talking about today is how to create magical inspired solutions. I just love the flow of that. How to create magical inspired solutions. Well, of course, both Deb and I, in the work that we do, our whole focus is to create solutions. But adding into this bit is this sparkle of magical inspired solutions. So what does that bring up for you when we say how to create magical inspired solutions? Oh, P.S. listeners, we do encourage you to have a note-taking device, pen and paper, or pencil and paper, or your phone, because we intend to give you some tips and little pieces to take away. So
golden I just nuggets in here.
Yes, did wanted to interject that. But yeah, what does this bring up for you when you kind of reflect on this idea of creating magical inspired solutions, Deb?
I think solutions to me are just nothing's a problem.
Yeah.
If I was to say, when you have a solution, people say, oh, I've got this problem. And they tell me, and I'm like, oh, there's an easy answer. Or what about that? What about that? And I do say that solutions for other people, we can often find them because we're not attached to the emotion or the 10 years that you've invested in doing this or any of that stuff. So when we just go, what about that? And they're like, oh, no, you've got to make it harder. At least give me at least think about it. You're like, but I can see that. That's your problem. Here's the solution. And I think the magical inspired to me is just that glitter. It's that glitter of actually, oh, what about that? And so all solutions, so I would say a solution can be a 10, how Moira at the start gave our rating. A solution could be, okay, I'm at a 10 and my problem is I've got too much to do in my day. You go, okay, well, let's write down everything you've got to do in your day. And they go, oh, that it can't be that easy. I'm like, well, that's step one. So then you go from that 10 to a 7 because it's a solution. And then you go, okay, now let's unpack that. And you're just unpacking each step. So when you say magical inspired, it's pretty much a 0.
Yes.
That it's just flows and it's not, I'm going to say it's not thought out. It just comes to you, my favorite, with ease and grace. I would say, would that sum it up a little bit?
It does. It does. I really like that. There's so many little pieces and nuggets that you brought into play right in that first tip. One of the things that I hear you say there is that magical inspired solutions are very simple. There's a little secret about them. They actually are simple, right? Now, you were reminding me of a conversation I had recently where somebody wanted to make a change and they weren't getting any traction on any of the action steps. They know that they needed to do this and this and this. There's quite a list of things that they needed to do, but weren't actually actioning anything. And so my invitation right there is the magical inspired solution is just take one step. Just one. Because then you're opening the door to the felt sense of it, the experience of it, and you actually start to feel into, I am, on my path. I'm on the journey toward that end goal or that solution, which might be a multifaceted piece, but that's that quote, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That's it. And that's so this is my tip here, is to not overthink what you need to do to get that solution. It is simple, and it is based on things that you can do right in this very moment, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well, funny, I just wrote down trust.
Yes. I was thinking that same thing myself. Yeah.
I wrote down it's trust. To have a solution, to find a solution is a large amount of trust. And I say a large amount because we can overthink everything and our minds can go crazy and other people inject into our stuff. And, so I say a large amount of trust. You only need a little bit of trust. You only need trust. It's just a word. But I think trust is so important there's always, and I say always, there's always a solution to everything that happens.
Yes.
Everything
Otherwise
that
it wouldn't
happens.
happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's just bringing us back to what's important to us. But trust is a massive one. So when Moira said don't overthink, not overthink, to get that solution, I'm just going to tag team that's an A, and I'm going to say B is trust.
Yeah.
Because I think that's incredibly important for that.
Absolutely. I think the other thing in this, I'm going to kind of piggyback on what you just said about the trust aspect. My tip here would be that whenever an obstacle or a problem or an issue comes up, the solution already exists. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that's that magical inspired solution, is more of that glitter bomb type of attitude of, oh, here's an issue, but now I need to be a detective or have fun, or look what I get to do is to walk towards the solution that maybe I just can't see right now, but I know it's there. And so with trust, you do get up out of your chair and take those steps, even if it's the smallest baby step, because you trust and you know, and you're inspired by the magical flow of the universe coming right through you, right?
Yeah. I think, when I think of a solution, I'm going to actually I'm going to say, watch what other people, so there's stories. I'm going to say stories. So you've got your own stories that are attached to the thing. Oh, this has never happened before, or this is never going to work. And I know other friends who have had this problem and it's never worked for them. Watch your stories and watch other people's stories. So even when you get advice from somebody, they may have, or they will have their own story, their own spin on it. So just be aware of your story. So I'm going to go to cheating. Actually, I don't even know why I said that one. But I'm going to go to dabbling outside the relationship, because I hate the word cheating. Oh, clonk. Is when someone dabbles outside the relationship. We'll put it that way. So there's always a solution to that. Yes, and there's always a magical, inspired solution to that. But definitely. you have a story attached to when you were 15, your partner cheated on you, and they went with your best friend. And so you're still got that broken trust, and there is no solution to that. And you've got someone who's telling you all these things, and you're just like, I'm not falling for that. I know I've attached myself to that old past story. Or then your friend goes, no, don't trust all blonde men, or don't trust all blonde women.
Right.
Because there's so many stories attached to blonde people anyway, that we're dumb. Guess what? Yep. Okay,
Guess what?
I that in some areas. Yeah. And I'm intelligent too. But this, I'm just going to label it stories, because we have our own stories and other people have their stories. So the two aspects of this is be aware of your stories and other people's stories, and definitely find somebody who can help you unpack your solutions. But as a professional, be aware of that professional story.
Yeah.
Is that simple enough for people to get without fish slapping them?
No, I totally get it. Because this references that one of my favorite questions. I was talking about this earlier today, and I know I've said it in our conversations before, is how does this make me feel about me? And so when somebody's saying, oh, all people are like this, and never trust that person and don't do it that way, and you got to pause for a minute and say, how does this make me feel about me? Does it make me feel like, okay, there's a step towards my magical inspired solution? Or does it resonate? Does it align with you, with your heart energy, with your own inner dialogue? Because other people's stories sometimes are actually none of your business anyway. Right?
It's drama. We can jump on someone else's drama fueled train.
I know.
and the only way to get off that is the hamster wheel is you fall off. Yeah, so I definitely encourage people to get help with their solutions if you're in that 10 space and you can't see out and you can't see it clearly. And the only professionals I'm going to suggest are clearly Moira and Deborah.
These two right here.
Yeah, right here. Because
right here. We're here for
that's
you.
That's it, because I can definitely say I walk my talk and work on my stories. I can definitely say that. And I laugh a lot, totally. And Moira listens more. I can tell you that.
But I do walk my talk, absolutely.
Yeah. And we're both solution-based of solutions, because we don't want to see, that's why we do these podcasts. We don't want to see people in a 10 and stay in a 10 for too long. I definitely encourage you to get into your 10, because to get into a 10, you can celebrate getting out. But I know I have stories attached to me, and the moment they appear, I celebrate them and send them on their way.
Yep.
You know, and work on them. But just be aware of those stories. Yeah.
Definitely.
For yours, others, and the professional.
Absolutely. And so kind of coming from that aspect, what you just said, the tip that I wrote down here is that when we're creating magical inspired solutions, and I'm talking like collectively, when we are doing it for ourselves, for other people, and like Deb says, as professionals, we are holding space for other people. We are being sacred sounding boards. A lot of people call me their sacred sounding board, because I do listen, and then I'll point things out, or I'll feed back something that perhaps needs to be looked at. But the thing is that a true magical inspired solution is based upon your inner wisdom, which has then been triggered by that professional helping you or holding space for you. So that's why it's so important to come into, does it resonate? Because, and I've had this conversation too with many students in the past, where I might teach them a technique. Like I might teach them EFT tapping, emotion freedom technique tapping. I know people that doesn't work for, that doesn't resonate for them. They just doesn't feel like a nurturing, calming tool that they want to keep in their toolkit. So my advice for that is, don't do it. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it.
I love it.
Because there's another one, or there's another tool out there that will resonate. So it's never appropriate for you to blindly go along doing a technique or saying an affirmation or reading mantras or doing any of that type looking for the inspired solution. If it doesn't feel
gel.
Authentic, it has to gel. It has to go, yes. And I think that's really, really important piece too, that ultimately you are your own authority. And that's the hands on your hip and saying, I'm the boss of me.
Well, we do have a large toolbox, and it is because, if you're, even just getting a screwdriver, sometimes that screwdriver doesn't fit and you got to get a different type, and then you got to get a different type. And I think just knowing that one size doesn't fit all.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, go to those clothings and they say one size fits all, and you're like, okay, yeah, clearly your size is going to fit me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to fit someone half my size. Yeah, no, I think you're wrong. I think knowing you've got that big toolbox of everything to go through, I love that doesn't resonate. I'm going to tag onto that one and say, don't be desperate of the outcome.
Oh, yes.
And
so
because
important.
I know, we all know the moment you quotation, let it go, that the universe provides. We know all those things, but we become so desperate. I'm going to get this before I leave here for work today. I'm going to get this. I'm determined to get this. And sometimes you just got to get up, walk away, stretch, walk around the block, go to the toilet, have a drink of water. And the moment you're walking back towards that, go, okay, I'll give it another go. Maybe I'll give it another go. Maybe I'll try something else. And as you're walking into your office, you're like,
oh, I know what it is.
So obvious.
Yeah.
That is so obvious. Duh. good internal talk. But it's that whole, don't be so desperate of that outcome, because when you're not desperate, that's when it just comes. When you're desperate, it's not serving you.
Serving you, but you're also being too rigid and too much in your head.
Hard on
right?
yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself a breather. The amount of times I say on my Facebook lives is 1, you're human.
Yep.
2, you have feelings.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Give yourself a breather, whatever that is. Just go, okay, I'm having a meltdown. Acknowledge it. So well, actually, so don't be desperate of the outcome. That's my one.
I think that's a really
which tags onto that inner wisdom that Moira said. Does it resonate? Because there is such a big toolbox. Don't be so rigid.
And don't be so rigid. And because the other thing that comes into play with that is these are all these tips are so interwoven.
Yeah, they are.
Because I'm thinking about a person who doesn't check in or be in alignment with what resonates. I mean, as far as a technique or a tool or a mindset, there's being really rigid, following the steps or the protocol that somebody else may have told them, because they don't feel like they're wise enough or that they're worthy of actually saying, oh, hey, wait a minute, I'm just going to be with this to see, do I like it? Does it vibe with me? And it's just having that space. That's why doing that 0 to 10 check-in, like we do at the beginning of our episode, is such an important part. Sometimes all we need to do is just take a wee moment, put your hand over your heart, take a deep breath, and then decide what you're going to do or say, right? So it's about just allowing you are worthy of your own gifts and talents, and you have them. Because as soon as I said that, and I can hear people have said it to me.
Oh, I can hear it too.
No, not me. No.
Well, that just went comparing. I just went into but so-and-so always has this, or she has a perfect relationship, or he always has this, and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, you're on the crazy train again. You're on that crazy. So comparing is also another one. Comparing yourself to others.
That's going to take you away from a magical inspired solution.
Oh, you're not even going to find a solution.
No.
Let's just go there. When you're I don't think, test me out, people, but I don't think if you're comparing yourself to others, are you actually going to find a solution? Is it going to come to you? No. I'm going to say no. Nope. I'm not going to bet $1 million on this one. But I'm let's go for it. Where it's like, what? When you're comparing to others, you are not going to find a solution when you're sitting in that 100% comparing mode. Because you're so much in your head, so much Well, watch your comparisons.
Watch your comparisons, because the thing is it's a lie. It's a complete lie. Because what you're doing when you go really deep into that is you're comparing your inner workings. And I mean like your feelings, your beliefs, your ideas, your thoughts, your verbiage. You're comparing that to the outer expression of somebody else. They're only showing you what they think people should see. So they're putting a mask on. So now you're betraying yourself, because you're not actually allowing, they maybe have all the same faults and foibles that you are stuffing down or saying, well, they don't have that. But you don't know that. Right?
Yeah, it's you just get on a cycle. You get on a cycle, and you just, it's hard to get off. Well, it's not hard to get off, because you just need to go, I'm off.
Yeah, sometimes you can't make a decision, say that's it, I'm off.
When you're on the train and you're rattling away, sometimes you just got to hold on instead of going, you know what, I'm off, I'm jumping off here. And then you deal with it. But can I just say, what does magical inspired mean to you, Moira?
It's out of the box. That's the main thing. It's out of the box. It's not based on what you saw somebody else do. It's not based on, oh, every time I get this kind of situation, this is how I have to operate or show up, or my father told me this, or my teacher. It's magical inspired is it's out of the box. It's saying, look at this moment has never happened before. This issue has never cropped up to this definition, to this way. And so therefore I have to stay very, very present, have trust, have tapping into my inner wisdom, and start taking some steps forward. That's it. That's the magical inspiration of it. Really, yeah. We're saying, okay, creation is flowing through me. Sometimes that may mean that I need to just pause for a moment and visualize or daydream or go for a walk and allow it. It's like you said about the taking a step back.
Can I go back to that word daydream? Because as adults, we get told not to daydream.
I know.
Just when you said that, I went, oh my God, I remember daydreaming as a kid. But as adults, we get told not to daydream, and that's where your solution comes into play.
It absolutely is. That's where the flow happens. That's where you hear the direction or the directive coming from your own higher self.
Yeah.
Personally, I daydream all the time.
I don't even. Yeah, I drift. I call it drifting off.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It comes for me in my meditations. That I'll kind of get more into that inspired or that openness, where I don't know about you, but in my own meditation practice, I can sometimes just get random download things of like, oh, hey, where that came from. In fact, I'm working on developing a course that somebody said, oh, you would be really good to do this. And then all of a sudden, all these just different components started. It's like magical inspired solution there, Moira.
Yeah, bang. Well, I don't meditate. My meditation's getting into bed and going to sleep. I'm like, oh, that's not me done. But I do, if I mean, when I say meditate, to me, that's visualizing. Mm-hmm. You know, shutting your eyes and getting present. But I'll go outside and I'll walk around the garden. And so that can be a type of meditation for me. Definitely. Because I'm drifting off. My phone's inside and I'm just walking and I'm looking at the garden, I'm looking at that and I'm watching the dogs attack each other playfully. You know, and so that's when I go, oh, there's an idea. Oh, what about that workshop? Oh, there's a great social media post. Or, oh, let's share that with so-and-so. And so that's where I have my daydream or my drift, or my ideas. And it is, you talked about it earlier, you talked about being present.
Yeah.
And it is that, because that's when you can actually hear your solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, what you just described is, to me, a form of meditation. As a meditation teacher, and also remember I said about that there is no one size fits all. So the thing is that some people think, oh, meditation means no thoughts, or it means sitting in a lotus position for 2 hours and not moving. That's me.
That lotus position, that's what someone said to me, you need to meditate. I'm like, what? I don't even like crossing my legs. I like, sit there cross-legged. How am I going to get off the floor? Not that I have a problem get off the floor, but my whole story, I'm like, no, I'm never going to do that. And sit there with my fingers to the ear. No, no.
But you can do that. You can do that only if it resonates. Only if it resonates. But you see, the other thing, and to your point, like going for a walk outside is a meditation, can be a meditation. The key piece is that the purpose of meditation is to give you a perspective of letting your thoughts flow. So you're not holding on to any thought. Don't know about you, but have you ever noticed that when you're getting really into crazy making thinking, you can go from one thought to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And sometimes I'll do that and then go, how on earth did I get way over here? I'm thinking about something that I did or didn't do when I was 11 years old. How on earth did that happen?
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Well, it is. It's running that marathon, and you run that marathon as fast. Next thing you've gone past the 20K mark, which is apparently the killer mark. You've gone past the halfway mark, and then you're like, whoa, how did I happen? Yeah, that's the one. I like that you said the one size doesn't fit all, because I think that's the thing. So I'm going to tag onto that one, is just because it worked last time, it may not necessarily work the same way again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because you go, oh, I know, this is it. Okay, so what I do is I do this, this, and this. And then you're like, well, hang on, why didn't that work? I was so certain of that. So, I'd really like that you said one size doesn't fit all, because today what worked for you may not work tomorrow. And that's where that beautiful session of the PEMS comes in.
Absolutely.
Because if you've had sleep, you have a different brain than if you have no sleep. If you've eaten something that's bloated you, you're going to have a different brain and energy level than something that hasn't. So that one size doesn't fit all is a perfect. Today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow, yesterday. So that toolbox is multifaceted levels.
Multifaceted. And the reason it needs to be multifaceted is because we're multifaceted. And to your point, like if you're getting up for meditation and you've had a great night's sleep, you may want a certain type of music or guided meditation, or maybe you want to just go and sit in the garden.
Yeah.
So it's just to allow, and one of my favorite, our listeners will all know this, the hand on your heart and just check in. What's the right choice for me right now? And see what pops up. And it's really funny because I can get into loops of listening to a certain type of music to do my own meditation in my personal practice. And then every so often I will go to turn it on and I'll be like, absolutely no way. There's a visceral reaction in me of like, nope, that's just not it today. And it could be that I just need to set a timer and have no music, or completely change it up. I do like to have some kind of music or sound when I do my meditations, but that's not an always either. And so this is the thing.
See, look how simple that is. Music or no music, it's not a problem.
No.
You don't have to have that fixed bullet point of everything having to be there, apart from your phone being away.
Yes. But this is getting into the creating the magical inspiration all around you, is just kind of, because it is a lot of the tips that we've been covering are about being present and having a sense of inquisitiveness to tap into the fact that all these answers are there within you. You just need to open up. It's like, I wonder what this is going to feel like. So it's about trying things, because that's the other part, of course, in all of this, is that you don't know what works for you and does not work for you until you try it. But you try it from the perspective of sticking your toe in the water and saying, do I like that temperature? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And some people are like, no way will I even put my toe in the water. Okay, that's good. Well, you just found something out.
Yeah.
Right.
How often do you put your hand in the pool and you go, is the pool warm? And you put your hand and you're like, yeah, it's warm. And you've only just put your hand in the top part. And then when you actually get in and you put your legs in, and then you get like, oh my God, that top part of your legs. And then you're like, it wasn't like that when I put my hand in. Because of course the top part of the pool is always warm.
A lot warmer than the rest of it. That's funny.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's so true. It's like it teases you. It goes, yeah, come on in. No, you didn't do that to me. Yeah. I think okay.
Oh, that wasn't another tip.
I was going to give another tip. No, I loved this one today. How funny. I was like, magical inspired solution.
I know she wasn't really inspired about this one.
And that's because we get here and we were 3 degrees this morning, and she's sitting there, being Moira, is sitting there in the sun.
25 degrees here.
Yeah, going, I'm going to have to open my windows soon because it's getting a little bit hot in my office, and I've got my heat pump as high as I can frickin' go. Frickin' is what I said, everybody, in case you thought there was something different. And I was like, and then she said, guess what we're doing today? And I'm like, magical inspired. There's no magical inspired here. You're just glowing over there and I'm cold over here.
And we won't talk about it when it goes the opposite way around.
I don't think I do brag. Just saying. I'm pretty sure I don't.
Okay.
In fact,
we'll
Moira
check.
didn't break. Moira didn't break this morning either. You know,
It
just
didn't.
saying.
It didn't
No.
really.
But it's this has been we're not wrapping up yet, but this has been a lovely magical inspired solutions. I think. I think so. I think so.
Don't you think? Don't you think?
Yeah.
That this idea of magical inspired, it creates the mindset that you are not alone. That you get to open up to that greater power or that flow coming through you. That's something else that does for me, that magical inspired. It's not like, when we're really being left brain, rational, logical, got to work it out, got to set the goal, got to push forward. That's not really helping you get into magical inspired solutions. We need
that's
the right
solutions,
brain.
but not,
yeah. But is it really the best solution? If it's, because that reminds me of that quote that I've referenced before too, is we make plans and God laughs.
Oh yeah, I bet you.
So when we get
constantly,
but when we get over attached, this is a wee bit like what you were saying about attaching to the outcome. Like really, our thinking processes can limit what's possible when we can kind of go, hey, I know the solution's there. It's up to me to recognize it, absolutely, but it's not up to me to get tough and rigid and keep ruminating it and going down rabbit holes. That is not inspired, right?
No, and I would say, I'm going to say the word tweak, 2 words, tweak it. If it, don't. So if this is what it is, then go, okay, this works. Oh no, it's not 100%. I want 100%.
Right.
Okay, I'm just going to tweak it. Like a recipe in a book. How many times have you've cooked something and then you're like, oh, I'm just going to add a little bit of something. It just needs something today. Whereas the other day,
put some cinnamon in
it. That's funny you say that, because I had cinnamon in my scone yesterday, a cheese scone, and they put cinnamon in it, and I was like, this is weird. And I tell you what,
it would be yummy.
It was delicious. So funny you say cinnamon, because I text Mum, we're big scone people in our house. I text Mum and I said, I'm having this scone, it's got cinnamon in it. And she's like, what? And then she came back and she says, oh, what was it like? Like 2 minutes later. And I said, it was actually a cheese scone. And it had cinnamon, and I was like, this is it. So it was tweaking it, just making it. We're going for perfection. We all want perfection in life, and mind you, when we strive for perfection, often we don't get it. But just tweak it. If you want to, I make mince in the house, and one of my things is I'll make mince, and my partner goes, oh, can you make that mince you made the other night? And I'm like, sure. Now, there's no way I have ever in my life made any of my mince dish, which is beef mince. You mince, yeah. Okay, I'm just thinking Moira's from another country. Do you have mince over there?
Yes, we do have
Clearly.
mince.
Oh my God, how embarrassing was that? But never have I made mince the exact same, because I go, oh. And so I think with our solutions, to make them magically inspired is tweak it. Add little things, throw a bit of this in there, throw in a bit of that. Don't be so fixated on this is it.
Yeah.
Because we're an evolving people who solutions 5 years ago are different to who I am now of what my solutions are, and even yesterday. So add that, just tweak it, not twerk it, tweak. I just realized I wrote twerk down.
Oh, did you?
So look at my bed.
I like that so much, because it's really funny, because I like to create and make things in the kitchen. And so
I'm purely coming over for your seafood chowder, by the way.
Oh, on holiday, I had seafood chowder that was made from heaven. That was what we had to give them the rating. It was like, came from heaven.
Really?
It was the best ever.
As soon as seafood chowder's on that menu, I'm like, I gasp. Yeah.
But something that I just wanted to I know we're getting close to wrapping up, but when I'm creating, and it is a little taste of this, a little bit of that, a little bit. And so when people really get into something that I've made, I can't recreate it entirely. And even to the point where I actually got really, really rigid with myself. Like, I'm going to write down everything that I put in and measure everything that I put in, just so I can emulate it next time. And it never works.
Well, see, that's your energy too. Is
Exactly.
the other thing.
Yeah.
Because you may have stirred it 3 times to the right for a
Yeah,
minute
who knows?
or
Who
whatever.
knows? And it has a lot to do with your emotion, where you're at, and like, well, maybe it was a rounded tablespoon I put in as a spoon.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love that. I love that. But I do think tweaking it, just tweak it till it feels right, and then tweak again, and then tweak again if you need to.
It's not being rigid, just being allowing yourself to flow with it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We must wrap up.
Yes. We obviously got on a roll with this one, even though Deb didn't really want to do this one.
I know. I was like, ugh. It's all because Moira was sitting in the sun. That's all. And that's why I was a 3, and then my nose ran, and this all the Anyway, people, that's enough about me. This has definitely moved my 3. Grab your pen and paper, your note-taking device, whatever you do, because if you didn't get it before, just go down and go through these points that we've said. We're gonna recap them, but if we've missed any off, do let us know, or if there's one that you really, really love, let us know. But let's crack on to what they are. So, how to create magical inspired solutions. The first tip Moira actually said was, what does magically inspired mean? And we both actually had a different one, because Moira, I said it at the start, and then Moira said halfway through, I got her on it. So do you want to kick off with what does magically inspired mean that I had?
Yeah, the one you had is this mindset, or the idea that nothing is actually a problem. Yeah. That the magical gives a sense of sparkle, and that it's about finding that solution, knowing that the solution's there, and it's the magical inspired is that you find it with grace and ease. Right?
And Moira said out of the box. Yeah, it's out of the box, and I like that it's simple. Yeah. And that's that from when you have a problem, you're sitting at a 10, and when you find a solution, you're sitting at a 0. Yeah. Or on that journey. Yeah.
Yep. Coming up and down that journey. Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. The next tip, I think you said the next one. Yeah, was not to overthink to get a solution. Is that you or me? I don't know.
I did say that overthink. You're coming at them at a different order than I am, but that's okay.
Of course I am. Of course I am, because then
but no, you're right. I did say,
that.
I said one step at a time, simple pace. Don't overthink. Yes. Yeah. You're right. I did say that one. Okay. Which then, and this, because I did say this too, that a lot of our tips kind of weave together in this beautiful tapestry, because we both talked about trust that there is always a solution, that the problem doesn't exist without the solution. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Yeah. Right.
And I actually put beside that presence. Yeah. Maybe I put that being present. Being present. I don't know if that goes alongside trust. It doesn't actually really, but I've got that beside my piece of paper is a little bit random. But trust and be present. Yeah.
Yeah. But absolutely, because you see, being present means that I don't have to go on the anxiety, looping, worrying conversation in my head, because I trust that it's there, right? Yeah. Yeah. The next tip that I wrote down, and I actually not sure, or I think it's a tip that you said, it was to be aware of stories. Watch other people's stories, watch your story. Don't and to not attach to anything. It's always running it past your own inner filter, right? So if somebody says, you talked about stepping out on a relationship, and so then somebody says, oh, don't ever trust this type of person, and it's like, okay, you can say thanks for your opinion, but you got to keep coming back to, is that really the solution? That's not really, right? It's like, Kate, that's your opinion, thanks. Right.
Well, people, I think, want to give their opinion because they want to help. They generally want to help. They don't want to be an a-hole. They generally want to help. You listen to Talkback, which drives me insane. I think people just get up there and they actually just generally want to help and say, this is what I know. And it's like, okay, I don't have to take your story on. because that's your story. And I know with the stories, I added in a professional.
Yeah.
Definitely is make sure you're professional. Walks your. In fact, that's a whole new bandwidth point. Is get help. Definitely get help for those solutions if you'd like to. And the only people I'm going to suggest is Moira and Deborah. That's it. And usually I say find someone who resonates with you. No, don't. Just find Moira or Deborah. Moira, if you resonate with her, Deborah, if you resonate with her, or both.
Or both, yeah.
We walk our talk. We're here. This is what we're here for. This is what we're literally here for. So if you get yourself in a pickle or you don't even want to go down that part of a solution, you've got a problem, just reach out. It's not as challenging as what you think.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's from you saying that I had said that to understand that these magical inspired solutions come from your inner wisdom. They get activated from your inner wisdom, but sometimes you need to have space being held by a professional to help you actually go, oh, that's it. That's the one that feels the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then now I get, that one.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The next one I've got down, I actually wrote big toolbox beside that. Big toolbox. Okay. I put that beside. Oh, the inner wisdom. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got everything all around everywhere. Is don't be desperate of the outcome. Yeah, which we talk about not being rigid, but don't be desperate of that outcome. Don't go, because when you're in that, you're on that hamster wheel, desperate to get to the end. You can't get to the end. You just, it's not happening. That's it. End of story. It's just not going to happen. So when you're desperation will just take you into a spiral. It'll take you closer to a 10. Definitely. And harder to get out.
Oh gosh, that's kind of some glue that would stick you at a 10.
Yeah. Yes.
But you mentioned about the big toolbox, because that was when I said about if a technique or a mindset or a tool doesn't work for you.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's when I was
talking about
using. Yeah, if I teach you EFT tapping and you kind of try the tapping point and you go, this actually, truth be told, when I first learned tapping, this is like almost 25 years ago, I didn't like it. I actually learned it all and then said, no, this doesn't jive for me. And it was probably 12 years after that I then got exposed to it again and thought, oh, okay, I'm going to try this again. And it was done from, see, this is what you were talking about we all evolve and change, because I use it in all the work that I do with clients now. But like I said, and I share that story because it didn't resonate with me for quite some time. So just be aware that if the affirmations or the mantras or the technique doesn't resonate, don't do it. It's not yours. It's not part of your magical inspired solution.
It is totally. Well, that will take you right out. Yeah. Comparing.
Yes. Don't do that either.
No, don't do that either. Just don't. Like I like that you can see your competition, or see, if you want to call it that, see other people, just see them. Yep, that's great. But don't compare, because it's an endless cycle that you're going to go down.
Or recognize sometimes it can be a real gift in that if you see something in someone that you really like, it actually means you have that capacity, or
just not recognizing it yourself.
Yes, and so it's kind of a gift to go, oh, thank you. There's some magical inspiration for you, right? But your point, and you said that when you shared this tip, Deb, was that you can't find a solution when you're comparing yourself to other people.
Oh, that's where I bet $1 million, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right.
Not quite.
That's right. Almost.
As I paused, but I am very firm on that. Because you're just going to waste your time.
Yep, definitely. According to my notes here, we have 2 more. The next one I had was to daydream, to meditate, to understand that there is no one size fits all for meditation techniques. It can be simply looking at doing the things that help you stay present, that help you have a wee moment of listening to the whisper of your intuition or your inner wisdom. something that you do that you lose all concept of time. Those are great ways to just kind of come into that. Are you opening to your own magical inspiration that's bubbling up to the surface, trying to get your attention?
Yes. And I called it drifting off.
Yes.
And that's where it goes back to that, does it resonate? If it doesn't resonate, don't do it. Don't
do it.
Don't sit in the garden if you don't like grass and you don't like ants and you don't like the sun. Like, don't do it.
Don't do it. No.
Like,
but find a place that you do like, because there will be somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah, that's the one. I've got, I like the way you go, you've got 2 more, and I'm like, well, I've got 4.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think so. My one was, which we talked about, was one size does not fit all.
Yeah.
Yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit all. The human feelings, acknowledge your feelings.
Right.
Which we've talked about dribbling in these ones. We've talked human feelings, give yourself a breather. What's your last 2? Have you got any of those 2?
No, I didn't make them as tips. Because the one size fits all, I had actually referenced that with the daydreaming and the meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. I put that as a separate tip.
Okay. That's okay.
It's a completely separate tip. You are not alone. Have you got that one?
Nope.
I've already got one after that. You are not alone. You're not alone in all of this. You are not alone.
I do. I remember us talking about that. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes, that was us realizing that that's where the
There's
magical
a song,
inspiration
you
is.
Are not alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this song is. But also that goes back to Deborah and Moira.
Yes.
Reach out. Reach out, because we're not attached. We're definitely going to help you with an outcome, but we're not attached emotionally to your issue, your glitch.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say problem.
Sometimes it does require somebody looking from outside of the situation to kind of go, oh, how about look at that? How about that mindset? How about that idea?
Yeah, and often we're like, oh, we just had this with somebody yesterday, or we just had this, and we're like, this is literally right on my head. Okay, just do this, this, and this.
Yep.
Yeah. So you are not alone. What one did you have? What was your last one?
Tweak it. Not twerk it. Not twerk it. Tweak it.
Tweak it.
Yeah. So that's when we both had stories to tell about cooking.
Yeah.
That just do it, but also have some fun with it, some play. Like you were talking about the perfection thing, is that sometimes people won't launch a product or put out that blog post or that social media image, because it's got to look just so. It's like, no, you know what? You can delete it, you can edit it, you can put some glitter on it, you can do so many different things, but just put it out.
If you're on Twitter, you can't tag someone once you've already done it. I am going to say that, so you have to delete it. And
you can delete it though. There is,
but you can definitely
undo.
yeah, that's it.
I've done that. I've done that.
But it is I had twerk it, and then I crossed it out, and then I wrote twerk again.
Well, there's some magic.
And then I went, they're saying twerk it, twerk. I love that, because it's just fixed. And I'm going to add another one, and the last one I'm going to add is celebrate life.
Definitely.
Celebrate
yes.
your problems, celebrate your solutions, just celebrate life.
Sprinkle glitter, knowing that there's magical inspiration around you at all times.
Yeah.
100%. At all times, yes.
Yeah, at all times. Whew. Well, we got through.
We did.
I think we did get through. And we're doing quite well. Now we're going to sum up our numbers, because I was a 3 at the start. What were you? 1.5.
1.5. Yep.
Yeah. And listeners, what were you? And then halfway you did your check-in. So where are you now, Moira, in that? No.
But of course I'm at 0.
But of course.
But of course.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm actually going to say a 0.5, because I'm going to celebrate life today. There's so much going on in my world. And even just saying celebrate life, I felt my shoulders just go, yeah, what are you going to do today to celebrate life? Perfect. And it doesn't mean I need to go out and whatever. It just means I'm just going to take a moment and hand on heart and breathe, celebrate life, be thankful for what I'm here for.
I love that. You know that celebrating life to me can sometimes just be as simple as saying, look what I get to do today.
Yeah, well, that just moved me to a 0, by the way.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, today I'm going to celebrate life. What am I going to do? And then I went, you're actually celebrating right now. You're actually celebrating and appreciating life.
Yeah.
And that's what bumped me from a 0.
From 0.5 to awesome.
Straight to a 0. Wow. So yes, go celebrate life, people. How to create magical inspired solutions. Wow, that's our deliciously motivated mindset conversation podcast today. Let us know what number you're at. So if you what a lovely one today.
This has been beautiful. I really like this one.
Yeah. So if you like today, if you love today, if you resonated with today, the next step is, I would say share, but I'm actually going to say reach out to Moira or I. Reach out. This is your step. If you really like this, reach out and just let us know what you liked about it. Now, book a call with us or anything, or put it in the comments and just say, hey, I've got a problem, I want to help. We are here to help you. Like,
Definitely.
this is what we do. Yep. This is part of our jam. This is part of our jam. This is we twerk it. We totally twerk it. We're here to celebrate life, and we're here to celebrate life with you, our listeners.
Absolutely.
And I'm here to celebrate life with Moira.
Definitely.
And a partner and princess, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you like this, please reach out. That's the next step. The next step is to reach out to us.
Reach out, yes.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you, everybody. That's our deliciously motivated mindset podcast conversation. Signing off for today. We will see you here. You will hear us on the next show
next week. Thank you so much. Thanks so much,
Moira.
Deb. I love this one. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.